Okay. So, Dr. Beltrán, some information in Italian at the beginning, and after that we move to Maurizio, Maurizio Mongelli, that will take the lead in the meeting. Ciao Maurizio. So just due parole in italiano. Innanzitutto benvenuti a tutti, grazie anche per questa sera, questo giovedì dell'IEIT, che ormai sta diventando una tradizione. Informo tutti che abbiamo già un calendario pieno fino a gennaio, quindi sta avendo un grosso successo. A parte i soliti annunci che devo fare all'inizio, e come ho detto prima del Beltrán, io sono Paolo Ravazzani, sono direttore di EIT, questo Istituto di Elettronica, Ingegneria dell'Informazione e delle Telecomunicazioni del Consiglio Nazionale delle Ricerche. E ho l'onore di introdurre questo evento ringraziando anche tutti i miei colleghi che stanno lavorando tanto per questo. A parte il dovervi dire che l'incontro sarà registrato e l'intervento della dottoressa Beltrán sarà pubblicato sul nostro canale YouTube, vi devo dare qualche altra informazione molto importante circa, lo dico subito, circa il prossimo evento, perché in questa stagione autunnale questi eventi organizzati da IEIT sono co-organizzati insieme con l'Internet Festival 2020 che attualmente è in corso a Pisa ed è online, e andranno anche pubblicati sui siti dell'Internet Festival. E molto importante, il 22 ottobre, cioè tra 2 giovedì, il prossimo appuntamento è un appuntamento importante perché avremo veramente un protagonista d'eccezione, Federico Faggin, che potremmo chiamare il padre del microprocessore, e avremo anche l'occasione di avere un interlocutore di Federico Faggin di livello. Sarà intervistato da Claudio Giua, che è direttore dell'Internet Festival, e il tema del dibattito sarà Silicio, dall'invenzione del microprocessore alla nuova scienza della consapevolezza. Quindi per i presenti ovviamente daremo come al solito gli avvisi a tutti, verranno fatti circolare eccetera, ma per chi è già presente si segni la data perché è un momento importante, nulla togliendo invece a quello di oggi del Beltrán. Mi taccio, lascio la parola a Maurizio che introduce la dottoressa e poi cominciamo come al solito. Grazie a tutti.
Okay, thank you Paolo, and thank you all. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, Maurizio.
Okay, hello Xenia, I'm very happy to have you here, before the traditional short bio, I think you deserve a special salutation. I mean, in a few words, as a presentation, I can say of you, Xenia involved me in the past in several initiatives in the medical sector, and I was almost astonished by her vision of the future, and as in my viewpoint, Xenia, you are visionary enough to push people involved in the project proposal to push the technology beyond the traditional I'm in the proposal using my usual technology and that's it. You were able to create a team and in overall involvement of people. For example, I was astonished. You were, Xenia, were very interested. Was very interested in the comparison we had in mind when remember, Xenia, when you were in Trilogic. over 5 years ago, we had in mind a comparison between our machine learning, our explainable AI, and the deep learning technology you had in Trilogic. And that was a very challenging approach to the project proposal in the biomedical sector. And I think the speech we have today is another good example of this vision of the future. The blockchain in governance is a hot topic that deserves attention, and I hope further points of collaboration between Xenia and you see Xenia, the network. Now you have many friends at CNR, and so possible points of collaboration in several topics. Moving to the more traditional introduction in a few words, a very interesting bio. I would select a few words. Xenia has over 15 years of experience providing project management, innovation management, and consultancy in functional design of information system and business intelligence analysis, ICT, social and economic analysis, including many aspects of security, cyber risk management, e-health, e-education, and e-commerce. And so she provided the project planning as well as management for established initiatives in industry and academic environments under a top-down oversight from inception to completion. So, Xenia, the stage is yours, and welcome again.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that kind introduction. So actually, it's true that I feel very linked to the initiative we have discussed. We have spent time in discussing this kind of proposal and projects. So I think it's the fun part of when you do this kind of projects. Also, I don't know. Many times people ask me for the things I do, but my professional path was more in the consulting area, so it's not a usual traditional path of a researcher that is quite focused. So that's why maybe it's a little bit different. Okay, but well, I had the opportunity to go for the PhD, and I really like the part of research. So that's how I ended up also at the University Politécnica of Madrid. So. Not sure how you want to proceed, okay, because I'm not sure how we go on time, but do you want me to start to share the presentations after this kind of introduction and maybe to see, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share, okay, and actually just to try to see while I finish to talk a little bit, okay?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, so then thank you very much, because actually for me it's a pleasure to share this time with you, actually, and to share with you part of our experience of what we are doing, okay? And actually for us, also the governance in blockchain is a very trend topic, okay, that we're having, because it's very linked of what we do, in the sense that one of the things we do is to link technology to the social part, okay, and to the market somehow. So actually governance is a topic that really embeds that part, and each time and that it goes, this kind of technology that is not that much centralized, each time is more necessary in my view. So actually, as it was commented, I've been sharing part of my time in some proposals with your team, and it's been a pleasure, and for me to come to this meeting, it's also a great pleasure to be here. Okay, so actually, thank you very much for the opportunity. So I did, I'm trying to move to, to the following. I just wanted to do a small presentation who is behind me. Okay, so right now I've been for 1.5 years already in the University Politécnica of Madrid, and I'm part of the Life Supporting Technologies department. This is a department that the research is quite applied and near to the market because we do a lot of applied research. Okay, the main area is healthcare. However, we also cover some other areas because we actually do research and technologies for life, at leisure, at work, at health environment and different domains. Okay, our projects always link with the health part and the social part that has to do with health, if not a straight healthcare. Okay, and we go over different technologies. We actually have right now many projects and quite specialized in architectures with different infrastructures below it, like it could be cloud, but it could be blockchain, let's say that way. So we were very in an approach in a very service-based architectures and developments to support and do research for the different areas. Okay, for what we do is where besides that we promote new ideas and methods and technologies. It's not only for the e-health or healthcare, but also for inclusion and the social part. Okay, as department, okay, we are also coordinator of the network of the living labs, okay, and testbed networks, okay, and we also are part of right now of DIH and that are linked with robotics and health. Our department, we are around 45 researchers. Our areas are personalized healthcare, active and healthy aging, accessibility, areas like smart cities or manufacturing, but link with a part of the health and safety, also and health impact maybe of environment on the people, and Internet of Things, okay, and all the part of with the architectures with IoT. We've been participating in more than 80 projects in the last, I think, 15 years or something like that. But right now we have 27 projects from the European Commission from the several areas open and ongoing. Besides that, we have usually around a year like 50 publications in high. We try to be of high quality. Okay, and right now in the last 2 years, we have like 21 PhDs. Okay, so this is more or less the background of the department where I'm working for, and that we have put together. So as for the presentation today, one of our areas is blockchain. Okay, so talking about the themes that might be interesting for you. Okay, we came out a little bit for the area of the governance. Blockchain is a technology that is emerging and is incipient, and still many things are under experimentation. So what is really there still, it can be considered that there are prototypes, let's say that way. So the idea is to go over the little bit of the basics in blockchain. Not sure how is the audience in blockchain, but I try to put something on the basics. After that, the things that are needed for the governance, because actually governance, it's a set of let's say, things that or processes that need to be implemented to have it. Okay, the type of governance and how to implement them. A little bit on the challenges, and I will describe a little bit what we are doing in terms of not only blockchain but governance for formal ledger. So to put in the context, okay, actually, what is distributed ledger technology is a technology that is let's say, the umbrella for blockchain. And it's a technology that allows recording and sharing across many data sources or stores, okay, what are called the ledgers, okay, the data as such. The ledger technology not only allows, okay, the transaction and the data to be recorded, but also to be shared in a very decentralized manner. And actually, it allows to have it synchronized along all the network that host all the nodes, let's say that way, or all the computers, just to say it in a lay language, okay, that are that host this, the data and the transactions. The blockchain as such is a type of DLT, okay, which is the ledger technology, and what it allows is transmitting in packages, okay, or in batches, they're called blocks. Okay, and to connect them digitally one with another one. So actually it's the basis for having really a decentralized approach, okay? It really allows the architectures to have this kind of really way of having decentralized data and transactions. And besides that, okay, what we are fighting sometimes with our projects is that it has become a buzzword, okay? So actually we're trying to dismantle or demystify, okay? What is the concept of blockchain as such? So overall, we can consider that it's a network managed database, and this database is stored in every computer as such. The nice thing of this is that it has several features, okay, that really allows you to have peculiar properties, okay, when you want to have this decentralized environment. So as for this, okay, I want to comment. Give me just a minute because it's an incoming call. So let me just try to get all out. Okay. Apologies for this. Okay. So actually, the idea of this is that to have these features, okay, is what it really makes you attractive blockchain. So one of the issues is that somehow it can consider that with some kind of other approaches, it can be considered to be secure in the sense that having this in every node or the information in every node or in every computer, okay, it will require a hacker to really hack all the nodes at the same time, and actually it would be very expensive. So actually, whatever to happen, this is very unlikely. So actually, we can say that it's an approach that actually supports security in this decentralized environment as such. So the fact that we can program in blocks that we can have this kind of let's say batches, okay, that are recorded as such, okay, and stored in an encrypted manner, and to have several algorithms that are that allows this kind of let's say encryption and to manage this, okay. What it makes is that if you really want to change some data in this chain or in this block, in these blocks, okay, will require kind of a unique signature, and actually the fact of having this unique signature to really be able to change or to make, if you want to access without make invalid the record, okay, is what it really brings. One of the main benefits also that is given from the blockchain, that is immutability. So continue with that, okay, the fact that we have all these blocks, okay, and that we can not only have it as block, but we can link them, okay, digitally with what is commonly called a hash, okay. So we can assign to the blocks a sequence, is what it makes us to have this kind of chain of blocks, and actually it's what it really brings the other main, let's say, benefit or feature, that is traceability. So that's why it's, for example, now it's very much used in supply chain as such. Okay. So to have these three characteristics, okay, that is security, is immutability, and is traceability, okay, is what it brings us to the other properties that are, or benefits that brings the blockchain, okay. So that means, okay, that we can, through all these characteristics, we can have data provenance, we can have auditability very easily, okay, and we can ensure, okay, privacy or permission, okay, or provide the permission to generate transparency. Like, for example, in our case in healthcare is very important, and that's why one of the reasons we're testing blockchain in this area as such. Besides that, okay, related to our theme today, there is governance as such, okay. To really handle all these nodes, okay, you need to put together all this process that we're going to comment later that are regarding governance. But one of the things that have the next property is the incentives, and we will talk about that later. So actually, regarding the blockchain, okay. And the fact of having this replicated, okay, we can say that there are many ways to have copies, okay. You can have one copy, and actually it's not used, but it was used at the beginning, okay? And that makes you to have a centralized layer, okay? So actually you have this middle figure that still looks like quite a hierarchical organization and replicates a little bit, okay, the centralized approach that has the company as such. But the idea of that is that for the fact of centralizing this and having many, okay, of them, okay, we are able to have a distributed layer. This distributed layer, okay, regarding it could be seen from several perspectives. One of them is the roles, okay, that are in the blockchain as such. So actually, what happened in this, when we have these many copies, okay, what we have the distributed ledger, and each of the parties has access to the entire database, and it has a complete history of what is happening. So but the main issue is that no single party, okay, really controls the data or the information that is there. So every partner can verify the records, and every partner has access of the information as such. So from the role point of view, okay, then you can say that the distributed ledger can be permissioned or can be permissionless, okay? So actually, when it's permissionless, it's because the role is because that you have access, okay, if you are trusted and validated, okay? So the nodes need the permission from a central entity, let's say like that, who manage a little bit the installation of the blockchain, let's say that way. And really provide you with an identity, okay, and include the verification to be part of one of the nodes. But besides that, okay, it could be also permissionless, okay. That means that in a peer-to-peer communication, because this is what happened when it goes distributed. Okay, you can have a full update of the copy with no permission at all, so you don't need to be validated or trusted, okay? And all the nodes collectively validate any change that is done in the blockchain as such. So, but besides the role, okay, you divide the blockchain by type, okay, of access. So actually it could be permissionless, okay, but then you can have public, it could be public, okay, or the same, it could be permissionless or permissionless, okay, and you have the access, it could be private as such. So all this, what it means, okay, is that what we really get from the blockchain is that peer permission transmission gets to be directly in between the nodes as such, okay? And we took from the middle this kind of central node that we had before, and actually then the chain gets disintermediated, because what you do is you create trust, okay, among the nodes, because you have access to everything. So actually transparency is enabled as such, okay, besides the characteristics that we commented before of immutability and security. So actually the fact of creating trust among the participants, okay, really creates this let's say this value on the blockchain. So you are whatever you have there is irreversible. Whatever you have there is transparent, okay? So actually that any transaction that becomes there is associated to a value, and the value, the important thing is that the value is visible to all the people as such. So the transactions happen in between the all recognized, okay? Either are permission or permissionless or private or public from the people that is recognized by the blockchain and the parties that are there. So, okay, it went. All this is important because actually, when you go to the blockchain, it's something that you cannot do by yourself. It's not a technology that you install by yourself and you just have the let's say you process. The issue of this is that being in a distributed environment is it makes you to be part of a community. And when you are part of a community, okay, you are part of several let's say, rules and regulations that goes on several perspectives, okay? Actually, like if you have a community where you participate physically, you as a person, you also will have the social framework that is around you. Same happen with the organizations that go into the blockchain as such. So actually, over the blockchain, you have a kind of like you have a business framework, okay, which is the social framework that provides your organization as such. So when you get to the blockchain, the first thing you have to do is that really to adapt or to see how to bring the blockchain to your business framework and see what is the ownership and what is the roles, how you are going to participate in the domain, okay, of trade. Let's say it's either is healthcare, either is financial, it's legal or security or whatever it is as such. So actually we need to know what is going to be decentralized. That's the first thing, an analysis that you need to do. After that, okay, you know that whoever is in the blockchain with you in this decentralized is actually your competition. So actually you need to have something in common with them, and actually you usually share part of the market. So either it is integrated in your value chain, either horizontally or vertically usually. So when you get to the blockchain, you know that you have to cooperate. So actually the fact is competition, and then you have to be able to manage as the business in this competition, because one of the issues right now is that blockchain, as commented, it's becoming a buzzword, but one of the issues is that many times the people do not want to share the data. And actually, this is part of this collaboration to say, okay, if we put all the data together, okay, and we create an environment where we trust each other, okay, then let's see how to improve or get more competitive, okay, based on what we share. Which type of blockchain layer is going to be deployed? This is very important because actually blockchain is dependent of the technology. So actually that comes with the next framework, which is the technical framework as such. So actually, when you define the blockchain, you need to go to this technical framework and you have to check, okay, first in the security that is needed, okay, when you want to put this consortium or this kind of network that has your competitors or your clients, okay, or providers in the same network. You all have to agree on security. You all have to agree in having a platform and features, okay, that really link to all of you and go on the economics, okay, have the same policies, okay, that are linked or integrated in the technology as such. And actually how your target audience or the community you are serving, because for sure you all have, all the people that is in the network, okay, have different interests, okay, and different position in the value chain, okay, that also makes that the target audiences could be different. And this is what really brings, okay, the governance framework. So actually you need to take in account both the business and both the technical to really put together the framework. And the framework and the governance is not about the data. Well, at the end it is, because we have the access part, okay, but actually, okay, it's about how to link whoever is developing the blockchain, which are all the software developers, okay, who is exploiting the blockchain, who are the miners as such, okay, and who is the community of users that we're targeting as such. So actually, in this sense, what we do with governance, what we want to do is to put a structure together, and this structure is a set of usually rules, let's say that, and the same that we have in society, but just to take it to another community as such. And actually, what we want is that this set of rules or this structure is followed by every person or user or organization, okay, that agrees to participate in this network as such, with or without a legal figure. So everything is under whatever is a governance. So actually what we want to have is that both in the real environment, because actually the companies and the organization transact in the real environment with at some physical level, and in digital world at the same time, you have this possibility to really create the trust. So actually you get more competitive, or you get a better environment to really transact or to interact or to share or exchange any information as such. So the fact on blockchain is that it gets cheaper when you get more people. So actually the good thing is to have larger groups. But when you have the larger it gets, the more you need the governance, okay? And actually, the more you have complexity to really have governance over the blockchain as such, or over the group or the network as such. So actually, the governance, okay, what is really important here is that you are able to adapt, okay, and really meet evolving needs, especially now where this technology is emerging and is not clear. So, as a decentralized network or framework, okay, that provides for governance in blockchain is this set of rules and procedures that are set to see how we are going to work. And the issue is how we are going to work at business level, how we're going to work at technical level, okay, and how we're going to work, okay, to really do this exchange and under this trust that we have created as such. So at the beginning, when blockchain was created, it was not envisioned to have that many nodes or that many people. Okay, so actually it was created governance free, but as it grows and the technology allows, okay, to have nodes, okay, and to really exchange and really be almost infinite, let's say, in the number of nodes, okay, governance is needed as such. So all the fact and all what we want to the governance is to really link this to the decision making, and the decision making for sure is usually linked to also an economic reason or driver. So this is why it's important, let's say, blockchain, okay? Actually, governance, okay? So is governance what really allows us to be adaptable or to really be customized to the new needs, okay, that are coming. Either if I need an upgrade in the technology, but either if I need to make some changes in the market, because actually the interaction of the market and the technology is what allows you that when you progress in one, it also allows you to progress in the other one. So the idea of this is that as decentralization is perceived, okay, and to increase and to really get these big groups, okay, into the network, into the chain as such, okay, the importance gets bigger, okay, because actually there is a sense of democratization, there is a sense to have and to get public interest, okay. The blockchain right now, it has also become quite interesting for governments. And actually for governments, okay, to have the blockchain to allow and show the transparency and to really promote a way, okay, that public interest is represented or to engage, okay, to the government, it's also important for them. So actually it allows to manage this complexity in terms of numbers and themes, let's say that way. And actually the other thing is that this adaptability, since the technology is quite new, okay, it really allows to try to update, okay, regarding emergent behaviors or this, and to really get new processes embedded, okay, due to the decentralization, more than decentralization, the disintermediation that you get through there. So what do we need? Or I mean, we have actually for this, okay, in two types of governance, okay. Either you can do the governance and put all the rules on chain, okay, or you do it off chain, or hybrid, given the solution later. So on chain is when you have the rules, okay, as part of the processes that are encoded in the blockchain. Blockchain, besides, allows you to generate this trust. It really allows you to have encoded, let's say, all the processes that are of governance. And that's what is called governance by the infrastructure, because actually it's the infrastructure who really rules the blockchain. In the off-chain part, okay, the governance is outside of the technology. So actually it's, let's say, in the physical world more than in the digital world. And that's what is called governance of the infrastructure as such. So when we try to either go for on-chain or off-chain governance, okay, what we have is different people that really intervene. And actually it's about somehow giving or looking, okay, where the quote of power goes, to say at some level, okay. So who is responsible or who interacts, okay, when we have governance? The first is like we have a core group, especially because actually the fact that having this technology that really can even rule how the things work, okay, is what is called the core group or developers. So they are the ones really responsible for maintaining, okay, the code of the blockchain, and that this is important because it says what you can do with let's say application of the services that are provided there. So actually they get important because they are the ones that really have the power to remove or add, okay, code, okay, and this impacts in the whole let's say network infrastructure. The second, or not less important, okay, is the node operator. So actually the code, usually the core of the developers depend on the node of operation, okay, and actually you as a node or as an organization or node operator, okay, you have a full copy of the blockchain usually, and actually to have the ledger and be able to run it, it gives you the power to decide, okay, and decide and implement new features, okay, on their nodes or not. And that means that also probably the whole blockchain or not. We thought that to get all these people together, we need some incentives. So actually, the incentives go also many times depending on the voting rights. So actually to have a token or to be a token holder, okay, that means that you can hold the blockchain token. That means that the degree of voting rights, depending on the type of the blockchain, will be given to you in several manners, okay. That means, okay, you will have voting rights for even implementing a feature, but it could be also to set a price, for example. And after that, you have the blockchain team. The blockchain team is actually the organization of the firm, okay, that takes over the blockchain. And what I mean is to take over the blockchain is because either it is on chain or off chain. You need someone that really sets at the beginning, okay, the blockchain as such. So is a figure that usually has the management and actually is the maintenance of the blockchain, the financial, in the sense that if you need to pay, okay, the expenses given for having all these nodes working, or for the marketing. At the same time that we have responsibles, we have several elements that is what really define, okay, little bit where you play or what type of blockchain you use. So actually, as commented, I mean, we need to have all this large quantity of organizations. So actually, the idea is that you maintain a line, okay? Well, actually, it's not misaligned, but let's say maybe less polarized, okay? The incentives in the blockchain. Actually, the other element that you have to keep on for the governance, I'm sorry, is the information. Actually, the fact of having it more transparent or ambiguity, and it depends on how you want to set the governance for the blockchain. We also commented on the accountability. That means that you can be more technical if you go on chain, okay, but it also can be more institutional. And the other one is, let's say, consensus and decision rights, okay, that is actually that you go more or less decentralized. And actually all these characteristics, when you put them together on the on-chain off-chain, that's what we're going to do next, okay? It's what it allows you to say that sometimes you have a way of governance that is more or less formal. So actually, as for the second thing that you need, okay, is for sure to get a consensus, because you have to agree in doing the things. So actually the blockchain provides consensus mechanisms as such, and these rules, okay, what they do is that really to try to get this agreement, okay, through a set of, let's say, facts that you define in the different participating nodes. So sometimes, okay, it's proof of work. So let's say you want to improve something in the blockchain as such. Sometimes it's proof of stake. Sometimes it's just by majority of voting, because, okay, you have the let's say, fault tolerance, or you want to do these variants or these kind of improvements, and you just go by voting as such. So you decide how is going to be your consensus mechanism. And the other thing that you have to usually you use, although, for example, in our project, we're trying to get a little bit further of this concept, is the smart contracts. And the smart contracts as such, okay, is the code on the data that really links, okay, the agreement among the partners. So actually, this is used in the on-chain approach. And what we want to do is that transactions now and future transactions are really set, okay, under the set of parameters that we define. And the last thing, okay, to set the governance is that you have to look at the technology stack. Okay, actually, we can say that overall and in general, we have three stacks, which is the infrastructure layer, okay, the blockchain level or blockchain layer, let's say that way, and the application layers that are the applications that go on the top. So actually, you have to see, as we said before, all this part of the business and all this part of technology together, and actually see blockchain that is embedded in a large ecosystem as such, okay? And this large ecosystem, besides that technologically, is part of a larger ecosystem because it goes from the infrastructure layer that is really about communications, it's really about all the protocols, okay, that you integrate, okay, and actually to all the part of the applications as such. So the layer that is down there, okay, each time you might be hearing that the network providers are becoming more and more important. And the issue is that actually that as the blockchain creates these packages, okay, the internet protocols are becoming important. So that means that the network that that the blockchain operates on the top of the network, okay? And actually the proper functioning of the blockchain as such, okay, also relies on this network. So blockchain, as one of the things that they do for traceability or for this tampering, is that you usually provide stamp records events, okay, that are visible to anyone. And for this, okay, anything that is part of the TCP or the IPs is also important as such. So actually all the protocols that are responsible to really routing, okay, between the nodes each time are becoming more important. So actually the roles that until maybe a couple of years ago, they were ignored a little bit, let's say, the network providers, they're each time seen as an important part of this ecosystem as such. At blockchain level, okay, we have two areas to look, okay. So we have the ones that provide a little bit the frameworks, okay, and the ones that provides a little bit maybe an application, a straight application as such, okay. So this layer operates as on the top of the infrastructure as commented, okay. So actually the limitations and the properties, okay, are also linked or limited to the layer that is below. That means that it inherits sometimes these capabilities for let's say that way. So when you want to introduce the governance, you have to see, okay, which type of technology is the best, okay, not only for what is in the top, let's say the top having the applications, but is related to the market, okay, but then how you want that these packages fly, okay, among each other, and this is what is need to be set, and that's when you set the type of technology that you are going to use in the blockchain as such. So at the end, okay, a blockchain as such, it could be very complex when you see this type of layer, but at the end, the idea is that whatever technology you use, the idea is to maximize the utility of the network. And when you do that, okay, you try to do that first, okay, nodes or organizations collaborate on one side, okay, try them not to cheat, and at the same time have the maximum operability. So when you put all these three together, okay, is when you actually start to get to several rules, and that means, okay, to try to see how you're going to leverage on this. That means maybe to think in the transaction fees. How do you want to implement this? What are the incentives that you want to do to the miners or to the ones that are going to come and exploit the blockchain as such? Do you want these miners to come off chain, okay, and maybe rule from the outside? Or do you want to have everything strict, okay, in the chain as such? And at the top, what we have is the application layer. So independently of the what you have there, okay, you can say that you can use any type of technology and actually create what is called the apps, okay, and the applications that go. So for this, also in these applications, you have framework applications that are built on the top of the blockchain as such. You can have like a general purpose application, let's say that way, that can be reused, okay, and can be used as services. Or actually you can have just decentralized application or sovereign applications that override the code, okay, directly on the blockchain. As for this, okay, what we have to know is that that to set governance is not easy, because you have to also integrate. It's different than when you do it in a company, because you have to integrate all this technology and inside the decision. So, and what it has to be taken in account that the bottom layers, okay, play an especially important role when you define, because they define the basis, okay, of what you are going to do with the applications later. So actually they dictate somehow how the applications are going to work, okay, over the network as such. So having this, okay, maybe it was a lot of things, okay, so I'm not sure if any question or how would you like to proceed. But at the end, the issue is that we come with these two type of governance as such. And actually, I tried to link the elements so you could see that all we were talking is not, it was not a preamble, but there are the things that are needed to be taken in account. So when we have this on-chain governance, that is what we call governance by infrastructure, because the infrastructure really rules, okay? What we have is this hard-coded, the rules are part of the software as such, and they are integrated, okay, in the code. So you usually have rules from inside, and calling inside maybe like endogenous rules, let's say, but because are part of the community that develops and the community that is in your organization. But you also can have rules that come from the outside, okay, that are from the regulators as such. So actually the importance of this, okay, is that maybe in this case, the part of the rules from outside, I mean, they have to be there for compliance, but actually the rules from inside are important because it's going to give you the code of power, let's say, to really change things over the whole blockchain, that really, it doesn't affect to you, but it doesn't affect to you by yourself, but it affects to the whole chain as such. So it's considered to be more democratic in nature, okay? Because besides the issue is that everyone it doesn't have any bias from, let's say, any external actor. Once you have someone that have set, okay, the blockchain, okay, the governance has the rules there, and it goes by itself and is automated. So actually, you don't have any bias as such. So that's why it's considered that the rules are for everyone the same. It works. This has been created for the digital world. Okay. So actually, they have been created especially for blockchain as such. So what you do when you have this is that once the rules are there, the developers have less power, okay? Because actually it's decided just by the rules that were there. So actually the powers get in the miners or the people that exploit the blockchain as such. So actually here it becomes the incentive becomes quite important, okay? Because the decision-making power is transferred to the miners, to the people that is going to exploit. So it's more, let's say, market-oriented. And actually, somehow, the worry here is that you don't know whatever you're developing is in, well, it's not that you know, it's a worry by the developers, let's say that way, when they lose their code of powers, okay, is that you don't know if the developments might go in the right direction, because they might be just oriented for less technological, let's say, let's say, quorum. So actually, what is considered that the information that is there is more transparent, okay? And the fact that is more transparent as such is because since the rules and everything is automated for the software, okay, you have a record of everything that have happened. So actually, the traceability is really high. So actually, that's why we say that it's more transparent than the other option. The accountability, well, it's more technical oriented, okay, because actually everything is ruled by and the power is ruled by the software and by the technology that is developed as such. And the governance structure, okay, is actually the blockchain, and the governance is ruled and is done automatically by the blockchain itself. So that's why you say that is by the infrastructure, and actually for sure the voting is decentralized, and okay, and it's according to the rules that everyone agreed at the beginning. The advantage of this, okay, is that actually it's predictable because the rules are there, so you know what is coming. So actually you can say it's fair in the sense that everyone gets what is stated or what it was agreed. There is no bias from outside. The system is fully auditable, and you can trace that everything that any decision why it has taken and how did it happen, because you have the rules there, and you have this part of, let's say, of intelligence that also makes is transparent or supposed to be transparent as such. What are the disadvantages? Not flexible, okay. Sometimes it has some resistance to change because the people that is there that has the power, that are the miners, are okay and do not see any issue with the technology. Then the technology is not changed. That means it remains the same for all the nodes. Okay, and sometimes it's not easy or flexible enough when it's handled. Let's say someone in the market misbehaved or made a use of the technology that it was abused. What it has happened sometimes, okay, or either you need a technical change and it's not understood easily by the miners, let's say that way, by the ones that exploit the blockchain, then it is not easy to change. The opposite we have with the off-chain. With the off-chains, I mean, the governance operates from the outside, so it has nothing is recorded, okay, automatically, let's say, to the blockchain. Although it's made on the outside, it really influences, okay, all the part of the development as such, because it needs to really take the decisions, okay, let's say that way, for the logic, okay, that needs to be integrated. So the rules that you need to implement is true that come from the inside, but this is from our community point of view. When I mean inside, it's not inside of the blockchain, but inside of the organization, and actually from the outside, the same as regulators or any other external point or external factor. And the difference, and the big difference, is that here the things are not automatically executed. Okay, so actually the community that rules the blockchain gets stronger. Okay, somehow you can have bias because all the rules that apply to your organization, that are social, that are institutional or political, or even at technical level, okay, they take some force. As for the things that are the elements that you need, okay, here the incentives varies. It can get more polarized because then you have the votes and you have maybe the need of the people that develops and that rules the technology also to go on the technological needs. Okay, so actually then it could be more polarized the effect. So let's say a little bit less. I'm not sure if democratic, but less automatically. Let's say that way. The information could have some more ambiguity because actually the traceability of the decision, okay, it could be more soft, okay, and not really respecting a rule, but you can go on the exceptions, let's say that way. The consensus, okay, is usually given by leaders. Actually, it's very difficult to have really large communities. So actually, like in government, okay, it's like you select some representatives, okay, and they are the ones taking the decision. And then the governance structure change because then you have several ways to have the governance because actually you are doing it more in the physical world. Okay, so you could have what is called the benevolent detector of life. This is one person, okay, is the ones that rules everything, okay, not an organization, but one person. Let's say case of maybe Facebook. Core development team is when the developers, okay, really have more the power. It could be, for example, when you have open source development. Or you have the open governance, that is when you have to try and get this kind of open balance in the two of them. Then actually as advantage, okay, all these characteristics, it makes you that it's more flexible, okay, to elaborate the change. Is good for the progress because actually it allows you to have and adopt the changes much more easier regarding the future. And one of the things we need with governance is adaptability to the next steps. So the fact that is outside of the blockchain, okay, it doesn't mean that after that you cannot do things in the on-chain, but it really allows you to have these needs and shape maybe the parameters that you need for the technology if you do it well, for sure, okay, and really shape the on-chain part of the if you have kind of like a hybrid approach. And actually, we can say that it's more informal because it's much more unstructured because it's not only guided by the rules. The issue is that when you have such a decentralized environment and it gets very big, okay, it's very complex and to not only to oversee but to control it, okay. So it's part of the disadvantage. And actually, well, as commented, okay, you can get on the side of the rules if it is not really rule oriented as such. So usually for this, as commented, the main type of governance that uses is what is called representative governance. So it's actually you select some people, and these people you vote, okay, and they are the ones that really represent you as such. So, oh my gosh. So to close, to say, okay, that is that really all bring challenges, okay? The challenges goes with respect to the decision rights, okay? And see who has the power to decide. So actually the idea is to have a balance in between technology and the miners or the ones that explode for, let's say, either commercial or social or the main reason of what you are in the blockchain and the process you want to decentralize as such is regarding accountability. Okay, it's about also the incentives and to really get able to manage this. So actually, we usually have this buy part or this off part of the technology by the blockchain, and that is on chain. Okay, it's usually much more formalized. Okay, so actually everything is more aligned. You can say it could be more transparent. Okay, and you have the off chain, which is have this ambiguity, but you also have the flexibility. Usually you are never in the extremes, but actually it's a big spectrum. So actually to set and to decide the governance is not very easy, because the first decision which actually leads you to the next steps, okay, is the technology. So when you want to really install this type of governance, okay, it's quite a big work, okay, because the first thing that you have to do is to think, okay, and to decide which is the type of blockchain and really to analyze the type of blockchain that you want to use, okay, and how you want to participate in the nodes. And actually see after that and decide what are going to be the rules and the mechanisms that you are going to implement to have this blockchain. So in the case of the on-chain, okay, you really need this first setting, okay, that it has to be done by someone, okay, some organization, and actually activate what is called the DLT, or activate the blockchain. And this is called the lead agency or the lead organization, which actually could be a group. It doesn't have to be one, okay? And the issue is that you set the rules as it will go and execute automatically. Then and this organization usually gets on the back a little bit in the day-to-day, but actually is the one that really gets, in charge of the maintenance and in charge of actually to really show that whatever is the business model that also depends, okay, on the blockchain, if you are going to have a fee or how you're going to rule the organization as such, is what they have. So right now, one of the main examples is Tesos, okay? And Tesos is one of the primary players that they have go and work with on-chain governance. And actually, it seems like they have somehow say that have solved the question of self-governance. But as such, not sure exactly how it will go, okay? But because it also depends on the technologies as such. Of the OffChain, okay, actually there are many examples now. It's quite of the way easy to get a consortium because it's easy for the people due to the current governance in their organizations to say that we get together, we do a consortium either in the value chain as commented or horizontally or vertically. So actually many of the examples of what is called the blockchain consortium are in this area. I mean, not in the stream, but for sure in all the spectrum of what is called the off-chain, and actually it's easy to the people to say to collaborate. And one of the things that also takes many companies to this area is the fact that right now there are the technologies. It's true that some of them are getting the market like Ethereum and they sound more, but you don't know what is coming tomorrow. Many people is scared to put all the eggs in the same basket, let's say that way. So actually, the people is trying also several blockchains as such. So many of the consortiums that are created here. Okay, so for example, Alastria is a good example. Mobi from the automotive is also a good example as such. So the thing that happened here is that, and actually it's kind of like a drawback. Okay, is that I mean, if you want to be in this consortium, it's good to be from the beginning. Okay, because you are responsible for deciding, okay, who is participating in the nodes, how they are participating, and defining, let's say, how the blockchain is going to work and how the legal entity that is going to govern, either if it is an organization, a non-profit organization, okay, or the commercial model needs to be defined, okay, at the beginning also. Each time is more and more important the data layer, because actually the data is one of the reasons why you get together for this consortium and to be able to share. It's true that still many organizations are scared to do so. So having said so, a little bit that's how governance work, and it's not an easy job. Okay. I want to also translate a little bit our experience, okay? We are coordinators of Pharma Layer. Pharma Layer is an IMI project, okay? And the industry lead is Novartis. For those that maybe not knowing on IMI projects, it's actually those are PPPs, it's public private partnerships that you get. And in a nutshell, what's Pharma Layer? Pharma Layer is, I mean, it's a project of 3 years. We are 29 partners, okay? It's quite a big project because it's 22 millions. And we have several areas of focus, okay? We call them DRAs because they are the domain reference implementations, okay? And one is supply chain, the other is clinical trials and health data. All in the area of healthcare. So actually, the move of the project is blockchain-enabled healthcare. I'm sorry. So when we put together this proposal of this project, okay, the idea is it has not been our motto, but somehow what we were thinking was really rethink trust a little bit. Because what we were talking is that this fact that the people that not only not trust each other, but do not want to bet on one technology, okay, and not to have something that really allows you, let's say, the different departments of your organization. It doesn't have to be a company, but it could be any organization to be able to choose, okay, whatever technology and blockchain you wanted. It was something that really drives us to this. So what we want to build is a scalable reference architecture and platform that it will be validated through use cases in these 3 areas or domain applications. So we want really to try and to get new concepts, okay, in the blockchain to support not only the more sharing of records, which we saw like COVID, for example, has been a good example of that. We are not doing well in that part, but also to really get, okay, the processes, okay, such as supply chain that also reflected in COVID not to be fully fluent, let's say, from the manufacturers from the farmers to the patients as such. So actually what we want to propose is an integrated health data space or a space of marketplace where the patients are empowered to really they want to share, actually to support with security and innovation under the blockchain and privacy and confidentiality for sure. That means that we want to be legally compliant, okay, with the GDPR and all the let's say regulations around, and actually try to get a governance, okay, because we want to get our project alive. We really want pharma layer to subsist. Actually, we feel, okay, that with the stakeholders that we have, okay, we have not only the applicants that are the ones that are publicly funded, but we have 13 of the biggest pharmaceuticals in our consortium to really have the value chain embedded of in here and be close to the market. Actually, these three areas have in common, okay, that they are really highly regulated environments, okay. They all need empowerment of the patient. They all need, okay, a lot of sharing of the data, and they all really need that the process really flow, okay, under high interactions, okay, either through suppliers, for example, in the supply chain, but also in the different stakeholders like hospitals, principal investigators, and patients, okay, that really have silos of information right now. So regarding governance, okay, we have started governance since month 1 of the project. We put it as a work package that started really and to see how we can redesign this area, link it to the technology we wanted to propose. So actually, we want to get to highly interoperable environments. That means, okay, that we not only want to put the regulation, but we really are thinking and are trying to integrate, okay, in the blockchain hashes that goes and integrates all the part of the standards as such. So actually, it's going in parallel with two goals, let's say that way, okay? We want the governance to be flexible. It's true that maybe we want all, okay? But what we are having and we're putting together from the technological part is some methods of treating data farther than the blockchain and farther than to differentiate to what it has been blockchain for cryptocurrency. Okay, we really want to put concept, and our concept in blockchain was to have methods of treating this data, okay, together with the blockchain. So from previous projects, we brought a concept, what is called data sharing units, okay? And the idea is that through the blockchain, we're able to query through what is called the DSUs, that are the sharing units, and actually to use them, okay, as micro layers. So actually, we can have millions or billions of layers. So what we do is anchoring, we do hashing, let's say that way. And we don't have information in the blockchain as such, okay? So actually what we do is to get and use the properties of the blockchain as such and integrate everything, all the parameters and all the information needed. It could be a data model, it could be a part of an ontology, it could be many of the things just to be a channel of distribution. What we call is the data sharing units. Together with this, okay, we didn't want to be mono blockchain. We wanted to have several blockchains. So our architecture is a blockchain of blockchains. So we want, and what we are using is for the different reference architectures, different type of blockchain. We are deciding based on the use cases, which is the best technology right now. Also, we are getting to the technical part. Our project is on month 10. It goes with the year. Okay, we started in January. But we want to have some freedom to operate. So that means, okay, that what we want is that having this blockchain of blockchains, okay, if you have some type of blockchain that you can be used in the application as such, okay, you could have maybe a type of governance that allows you to have these kind of decisions that doesn't have to be that complicated, like, for example, like how the whole blockchain or the whole architecture might going to change. Okay, so actually, let's try to keep simple decisions, okay, in the top part, and harder decisions maybe in the bottom part. That is the one that affects everything. So maybe not everyone that is in the application it will be in the infrastructure as such, but it's part of our approach, and this is what we are defining now. Up to now, we have been doing benchmark. We have gone to many blockchain projects and talk with them, see what is their experience, see what is their problems. Actually, the people has been very open, so we're very glad. And we are trying to engage them as part of our concept. We are very happy to have a lot of pharmaceuticals and a lot of big industry working with us in open source. So actually everything will be open source, and it's nice to see working hand to hand with you in this area, which is not usual as such. So what we need, or how we start, okay, actually we cannot say, or we are not sure that we really want to be defined as a blockchain consortium. The issue that as a project right now, we just have this consortium, okay, and actually is how we are starting with the governance as such. Because as part of the project, we are defining the basis of what is the underground of the architecture. So this is our consortium and this is all on my side. So not sure if you have bored or you liked it. Hope you liked it, and thank you very much for listening. And I'm not sure if you have any question or any doubt. Happy to answer.
Okay, Xenia, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Maurizio had to go, so I ask to the audience if there are any questions.
Yeah, Laura.
Yeah,
I have a couple of questions for Beltrán. The first one is quite a provocative one, because you talk about democracy of blockchain, and in some way, first of all, I anticipate that. So my comment is, it sounds to me as an anarchy that needs governance, and for needs governance. What do you think about that?
Well, anything that is decentralized, okay? The fact that it's decentralized, it doesn't mean that it's anarchy, okay? I think we have to learn to live in community inside the network and outside the network as such, okay? So actually the technology is allowing us to be in remote in many areas, okay? But the fact that you cannot be seen or that you are behind the network, okay, it doesn't mean, okay, that you are not going to respect the rules. So I think, okay, together with that's why together and since the beginning, okay, in blockchain or in any technology that goes in this way, you really need to set the governance. And I really think that's the sense that the governance each time is becoming more important. So the people know that this rule exists, because the fact that you are virtual, sometimes you don't see them. And you don't see who is next to you and how it affects. So the fact that sometimes you don't see how it impacts to the other one, it might make you just feel that you have some kind of freedom around you that maybe goes to this kind of, let's say, little bit of anarchy type. But I think somehow it's part of what we have to respect. We have to know that we have rules inside and outside the network as such. And we have to put them and make them clear from the beginning. I mean, In Spanish, probably you have something in Italian similar, but you say cuentas claras conservan amistades. That means that if you are clear from the beginning from the rules, okay, you know how you are going to work. And I guess that's it's nice of the on-chain technology that you know that is nobody there that has a bias and they say maybe less anarchy. But the fact is that it's not flexible. So anything that is not flexible will not progress.
Very good question, Paolo.
So,
and
thank
yes.
you very much. Just a very last. I don't know if Laura, if there is some other question from the audience. Otherwise, I have a very short one.
Yeah.
Because you talk about simulation and simulator of this kind of system, and I'm just wondering, considering the complexity of this kind of system that characterize public institutions, public bodies, private bodies, and so forth, what kind of expertise you think needs to simulate, to create a simulator of this kind of system?
Oof. I think the nice thing of a simulator is that you can play with it, okay, and without somehow real risks, okay. So that's the nice thing of the simulator. What kind of expertise you need? Well, I think is you have to take in account the 3 layers, okay, for sure, and you need to take in account. I mean, you for sure need besides the artificial intelligence and anything that you have to go with the simulator, you still need people expert in blockchain. It's not easy sometimes to get it outside of the cryptocurrencies now. Okay, it's becoming a high demand, let's say, profile. And second, you need the business part also, because part you will not have something that return that will be flexible. So I think you still need the 3 areas to simulate and actually allow to play. The big issue of this is that the technology blockchain is so incipient right now that you don't know how it's going to change. It might be, many people talks about maybe some kind of technology taking all over and monopolizing, but some people just talks and say, maybe a newcomer just installing something very new that still is not. I mean, it's in R&D. So the issue is that right now the needs are there for the technology, for the features of the technology, but it's not flexible enough, let's say, how it's stated, okay? I mean, either you want immutability and flexibility, maybe it's contrary a little bit, but not sure if I answered, but the issue is that you really need all the profiles. You really need people on the blockchain to see how it works, okay, and to have trends for the technologies and see how flexible it can be. Maybe to use several blockchain technologies, because as commented, okay, the governance for Ethereum would not be the same for Corda. It depends, okay, how you want to play. You have to play to be in public or not. You have to play with access. You have to play with roles, okay. So it's a very nice initiative, but as hard as to take the decision of the right governance that you don't know if you are taking.
Thank you very much. I see the point. Thank you.
Yes, it is. It was very interesting. I think that blockchain can have a lot of application that could be very interesting to all of us, also as citizens, I think. So I hope that public administration will take some advantages of this technology. I think that the social point of view that you touched in this speech was very interesting, and I give my greetings to the project, to Pharma Ledger, and
we'll try.
I hope it will be a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I think the social part is very nice because the people get empowered as a citizen, as a patient. I mean, the fact that you are able to know what to share, or who you are sharing with, okay, and generate this trust with people that you don't know or organizations that you don't know. But the fact that you are able to go and check that is right, what is in there, I think it gives you really good possibilities as a person and as for organization as such. So it's rethinking the level of trust among people, machines, and organizations. Because even with machines later, okay, that you know that it will be there, whatever you put, okay, and if you want to interact with a robot later, let's say that way, and that it will use whatever you say you have asked to be used.
Yes. Very interesting. So, if there are no other questions, I think it's we can thank Xenia. Thanks a lot for her speech, and we see next time for the next meeting. Paolo, would you like to say something?
No, just to add to your words, Laura, and greetings, management to Dr. Beltrán. Thank you very much for your time for us, and thank you to all the audience. And just to say to all the audience, the date, save the date of October 22, I said before, for the next Thursday of the Institute. Thank you very much, Dr. Beltrán, and to you all, and also to you, Laura.
Thank
you.
You.
To all the organizer.
Thank you. Thank you,
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Xenia.
Thanks to you, and thanks to the audience, and thanks for the opportunity. And welcome if you want to interact. For PharmaLedger will be opening from next year for opportunities just to interact with us or to testing, because what we want is to test that the platform will work.
Oh, okay. Sure. You are.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.